Hello and welcome to a special championship recap edition of the DCHL Outsider podcast here. Despite the petitions to not have him on the cast, we had to bring in the commish. Suds is in the house.
What's up, folks? How are you? The less of me, the better.
Less of Suds, the better indeed. So we're going to jump right into it. MDHL championships. We had, over the last 2 weeks, one a couple weeks ago and two just yesterday. We're recording on Thursday, if you can't tell. We had D1, D2, and REC championships right now. So let's talk about D1 and MDHL. It was Lords of the Rink against TNT. They battled last season. They battled this season. It was a strong game.
Yes. Obviously, I know I'm a little disadvantaged. I was not there this past 2 weeks, but I did look at the scores, watch the game on our Facebook Live replay.
Shout-outs to Claude.
Yeah, Claude doing a great job with the streams there, and you as well, Joe. Joe, and that's one part of the league, folks, where I have completely left this up to Joe. And
it's amazing how good the podcast is and how good the streaming is and how good the Twitter is when Suds is not involved.
That's one area where Joe has done a good job of leaving me my responsibilities to do other things as well too, and I trust we get everything done, and he's done a great job along with his minions, as we will call it out there. People help him out as well too. Great job streaming games as well, the stream team. So I was able to go back and watch some of that game. It was a great game. And with TNT, it's always going to be they're a top team. It's always going to be, can they score in the playoffs? They're one of those teams where they struggle to score in the playoffs. And obviously, in this case, they're able to get two by. One controversial goal, but they were able to get two by to Kevin Sheehan where they won that game.
So, we know who TNT is. We know who Lords of the Rink are. Let's look at Barbarians and Crease Crashers here. We'll save that for another episode. We'll break down MDHL later. MDHL later. So congratulations to TNT on that one. We had the D2 championship here. Blew it steel indeed. Did not make the championship. The Gwendolyn Guardians against the Wu-Tang Clan. Gwendolyn got the win as they were hoping to do. But first win for Gwendolyn Guardians in D2. New team, first season, and they took home the championship. That's a pretty big accomplishment.
Yes, it is. But as we talked about also privately as well, Joe, this is not really an expansion team, as we know.
Oh, no, of course not.
Yeah, this is actually, it's their first season. This is a pretty well put together roster by Gwendolyn Teal.
That's a loaded team.
It's a loaded team. That's all. Let's not doubt about that. So to call them an expansion franchise winner probably is not fair in that term. But give them credit. They played well. It's a very solid team put together with the cap parameters. And, and they were the favorite, and they were able to get there. Now, Wu-Tang Clan, this is a team that missed a lot, their players missed a lot of games this season. And surprised they made a run, but they did make a run to get to the finals. But at the end, Gwendolyn was just too strong.
Yeah. We're going to see some changes to MDHL. We'll talk about that in a moment. But we're going to go REC division here. The number 1 seed Lucky Pucks were not in the championship. Neither were the 2 seed Islanders, the 3 seed Black Knights, or the 4 seed One-Timers.
Yes.
We had a 5 and a 6 matchup. This is probably got to be the first and possibly only time in league history we'll see a 5 and a 6 seed in the championship.
I believe so. Yes, and a little caveat there. I mean, the spread between 3 and 6 was 1 or 2 points. So
the spread between two and 6.
Okay.
That's one win. Yes. One win's a 4-point swing. Any of those teams could have realistically been second place.
Exactly.
With one more win, which is crazy to think about.
Yes, absolutely. And the Zero Pucks given, they were a true expansion team, mostly friends that Sharon put together. So and a team that they won their first game. I think that they won their first game against Lucky Pucks. Their season opening game,
yeah, they did,
which was a shock. So and we should probably see that coming out there, but players like Eric Trepany, which we gave them because they're a new team, they need to be strong. Players like Eric and Sumit and Tomas did a great job, and obviously Eric Aubrey, I heard, came back last night from his injury and was a star in nets.
Yeah, he played a really good game in net. That was also his second game too, so he was subbing in for the Wu-Tang because Kevin Shea was out. But he did a good job. So congratulations to Zero Pucks Given. #Fear the 5 seed. As They seem to like. So if you're a GM of Zero Pucks Given, do you tell them to lose enough games in a regular season to finish at 5 again?
I'm not sure it's that easy, but not
Because there's some of this players, the Zero
yeah,
Pucks Given team, like their core is kind of Sharks players as well,
yes, they are.
and they were the 5 seed there in rec, and they did it there too.
The number 5 seed seems to be the top seed here. Now, side note, here's some inside information that that we don't share too often. I talked to you about it, Joe, and other people. But next season, Zero Pucks Given wanted to add more star power, and I said, no, 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 no. You guys are already a top team. So we turned down some of the players they wanted to add to next season that would make them even a stronger team. Rec division next year is going to be a little bit less talented, if you want to call it that, or loaded, because we are moving up the top 2 teams seeding wise.
That's what I was gonna say. We got a
Yeah.
D3 division coming in here.
Yeah. So we're going to make sure that rec division stays rec. So we did turn down some roster additions that Sharon requested for next season, but it should be a fun rec division there as well too.
Right, and we're gonna have a D3 division coming here, so it's gonna be a little bit of bouncing around here and there. We're gonna have 4 divisions of 4 teams each. This should be exciting. Should hopefully help kind of create a ladder here for players to go from, if they want to maybe start out in rec, to gradually climb up divisions and become more skilled and refine their game, and then become a D1 superstar. It's
Absolutely.
that easy.
Absolutely.
That easy.
Now, the original plan was to have a D3 level, that was a D3 division that's kind of between D2 and rec. And obviously, that's always the plan, but that never works out the way you want to work out. It seems like, looking at the roster, the D3 division probably is going to be a higher end version of rec. It'd be more close to rec than it would be the D2. But hey, if that's where we start off with, it's probably going to change. As you know, players get competitive, teams get competitive, more players will be added throughout the seasons. And I'm sure, just like any other division in DCHL and MDHL, the D3 move up pretty quickly in talent level.
Yeah, I can see with 4 divisions, it definitely helps on Sunday. We're seeing a lot of players develop and get better, and we're seeing players who started out in the lower divisions start to play in the higher ones. And we'll get to that in a little bit here. So we're we kind of went through MDHL stuff. In the meantime, let's just mention the waiver, the insurance stuff, because I know that's needs to be mentioned again and again and again and again.
Sure. Before I do, joke, I just added one thing about MDHL. Just one correction. We're going to have 5 rec teams. A late addition from Lou Fontek, Smooth Lou, as you call him. We'll have his
Smooth Lou Fontek.
Frozen Chosen will be added.
Frozen Chosen.
There you go. So we'll have 5 rec teams there. Just the one last part there.
That'll be exciting.
Go to liability insurance, as we mentioned in our emails, several emails we've had to all the players out
And
there.
those emails are hard to read. They're very bulky. Suds, you got to have the professor, Joe Frew, the editor, the Frulin Wall. We got to have him take care of this stuff and make it a little more human readable, Suds.
Fair enough. I think the also size of the email, content wise, which I did have someone proofread it, but we have to make sure we explain why we're doing this. It's a very important thing. So the size was longer than I would like to have had in general. But basically, the bottom line is, the Rockville Sportsplex and Dallas Sportsplex, all the Sportsplex in the area are now mandating memberships across the board for all their players. It doesn't matter if you are paying the league or not. You got to actually pay them a fee as well too. So we tied it up with liability, and basically it's a bulk deal where you're paying for liability and Plex membership annually once a year. If you wear a helmet, it's $40 for the year. If you do not wear a helmet, it's $60 for the year. It gets you an ID tag to go play in any sportsplexes in the area. At the same time, there's also a cashback feature, which I'm not privy to yet. But apparently, if you shop at major outlets, retail outlets, either online, you can use your key tag and get cashback discount to pay for that fee back within one purchase. So that's coming as well too.
It is good to know. Make sure you get your liability insurance taken care of, because it's going to be strictly enforced on Sunday, I believe.
Yes, what's happening right now is, if people have asked us about that, the Plex system, their computer software is not ready to take us into the system yet. So right now, the liability gatekeeper is myself. They've trusted me to do that. But obviously, once their system is ready to go, we'll send you instructions on how to get your ID and key tags. And then from that point forward, you won't check it with me, we'll check it with the Plex. But for now, at least for the next week or so, maybe in 2 weeks, you'll be checking with me or the person in charge on that day if I'm not there. And you will not be allowed to play if you have not paid your membership fee.
Okay. And how does this work with, say, new players? Say I got a friend and I want to bring him to play.
Yes.
on a specific day? How does that work?
You need to let me know in advance. If you let me know in advance, I can let them in. Obviously, I have a deal with the Rockland Sportsplex that we do have players that try out our league. We give them one free tryout, and they will allow them to go in. So yes, just let me know in advance. We can take care of that without a fee. And the other question I keep getting also, Joe, is the fact that what about people who want to watch? That's fine. As long as you want to watch, let them know I'm just a spectator, not a player. And as long as you are a spectator, there will not be a problem.
All right, and we do love spectators at DCHL Leagues. Love when people come out and watch the games. It's really fun. Adds a whole new awesome element when you have people cheering from the rafters, which is awesome. Shout out to
Yeah.
everyone who watches games and watches the streams. But all right, we're doing some DCHL action here, so I'm just gonna combine the recaps and us talking about the games. I'm gonna try to avoid talking about the game so much and talk about more about the teams and roster changes and what we think these teams need to do to succeed.
Sauce it. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm ready when you're ready.
So first game on Sunday was Street Sharks. Well, Street Sharks no longer the Street Sharks, fresh off the street, the Sharks
Yes.
against
Name
the hockey
change.
against the Hockey Dead here. Sharks ended up winning this game 4-2. The defending champions. Any real roster changes? Anything along those lines?
The Sharks didn't have any major roster changes. They're pretty much the same roster as before. In terms of they didn't lose Ryan Seatree, the goalie, good goalie, and Terry Bowen to the Gwendolyn rec team, Nightmare. That's the one change they had.
That's a big loss.
Yeah, but it was kind of a trade. It's a big loss, absolutely. Mandy Bramelow, who doesn't play for the Nightmare team, is joining the Sharks instead. So it's kind of a small, unofficial trade there.
Okay.
That worked out, to get them the females they need out there. But beyond that, not many major changes to the Sharks roster.
So goalie for the Sharks is
Robert Kim. Their backup, their part-time goalie last season is going to be the goalie. Plus, I was going to get him a goalie as a backup or a secondary goalie, but Chris Vasila said, no. Shaggy, his nickname.
He'll play it.
Play goalie.
He'll play it.
Shaggy
Okay.
is the backup goalie now. He wants to play goalie when possible. So Shaggy now is a backup goalie.
Okay. It is good. And the Hockey Dead, any movement on their end?
Yeah, they lost. It's the spring season. They lost Janelle, good player, and Chris Busey, good player as well too. They lost Mario Blotzik, I believe as well. He dropped that team, I think. Yes, he did. He did officially. So they have some new talent coming in. Let's see here. Brennan's friend, and I believe Brennan's friend he's got a relative young kid who's pretty good. Their name is Stephen Jones, and his father joined. They played well last time. They look pretty good as well. So those two players joined the team from that standpoint. They lost Shane Spiker to the new team, Sinbin. Obviously, Shane is a police officer, Montgomery police officer, and that team, Upper Deckers, renewed, came back into play.
He is one to find himself in the sin bin pretty often too, so it fits.
New team Sinbin, so they lost Shane Spiker as well. But they lost some players there as well. So Hockey Dad, offense is going to be a question mark there. Can they score enough goals? Sumit obviously also was banned from playing rec, so they lost.
Banned from rec. Sumit got the boot from rec. That seems fitting. So those are pretty big losses there for
they are.
For the Hockey Dead. So yeah, that's good. Sumit is a very good player, and while it's disappointing that you have to leave a team here and there, it's ultimately better for for the league to develop players like that. Sumit, he didn't really need that much development or refinement. He came in very, very good. So seeing him in D4 and on the stick magnets and D3 on Zambronis is good.
Those
penalty box heroes. Penalty box heroes.
Still,
Took me a second. We'll get there. We will get there here. So yeah, speaking of Sinbin, they played Midnight Riders. Midnight Riders 5-2 win. This was a game that had 5 different scores. Sam Berkeley with a goal, Melissa Keach with a goal. It was good. Sam was actually subbing for the Hockey Dead and scored that game. So that's 2 games in a row. She scored two games in a row, 2 goals. So that was a big deal. Sinbin, new team here. So let's talk about them.
Yes, they're a team that Don McCann and Tomas, who was the original captain of the Upper Deckers, the team that brought into the league players like Matt Chamberlain, who still plays, players like JT Justin, who still plays, players like Mike Kay and Manny Gomez, who still play. Those were all originally from the team Upper Deckers that came in the league about 2 years ago or so, 3 years ago or so. So now when those players kind of disbanded and they went on individual teams, Dawn, got a job in New Jersey and she was transferred. So the team obviously went away, but now Dawn moved back and she got married to Tomas and they put a new team together. Some of the players are back, like Carla Halloran, who was on Upper Decker. She's back. Shane Spiker is back. And they added some new faces there as well, too. And I gave them a couple of free agents as well. So it's a team that I can tell you right now, they're going to score goals. Okay, they have some guys there that can score goals. They have a goalie that's new. His name is Corey, I believe, if I recall correctly. And Corey, obviously, is playing goal for the first time. It's going to take him some time to learn the position, take him time to understand our shooters and playing with the ball. So he had a rough start. He gave up a few goals early, but then after that, he rebounded and played pretty well. They were down 5-0. They came back to make it 5-2. So they were down 5-1. They made it 5-2 at the end. So that team will definitely be improving as you go along. A team that's going to score goals. Question is defense and goaltending. How quickly they can improve.
My Midnight Riders, any changes?
No major changes. They had some new players actually. Let's see here. Yeah, so they had a few new players that there were referrals from Chris Zupa that came in. Claude Williams no longer playing this season. Our esteemed streamer is taking a season off. Anaban also not playing this season, so they had some openings, and they fill them pretty nicely in general. So they're a team that, they're the one team that if you've watched them play recently, they actually play with two females on the front line. They go with two guys on defense. That's why players like Samantha, like Melissa, like Carolyn are playing offense now, which is great to see. So they're going with the two female forwards and one.
We're also seeing that on Puck Mafia too. On Wednesday. Yeah, they're doing it a lot. I guess Carolyn plays in a. She plays on. Yes. Yeah, she plays on both.
Too. Yeah, it's Aubrey, Keith, Carolyn, Alex thing. I think I've seen it happening also on high roll sometime as well too. So yes.
Yeah, they score goals too. Carolyn scored a big goal last week, I believe, and then we had Sam scored, Melissa scored. I mean, so that their players can score. Also, we got to point out Chris Zupa. I mean, it's when you ref a lot, you stream a lot. You definitely see some players really stand out. His game's developed a lot in, let's say, the last 6 months. He has really improved. I mean, a lot of players have, but he's one that just sticks out. So Chris Zupa definitely deserves a shout out for his strong play and his improvement. So
absolutely. And one thing about Chris Zupa, people may not aware of this, but since you and I ref a lot of these games, you and I would know, he actually plays in RHL now. He's also an inline player. He's getting better there as a skater. Joined the inline league there. And in DCHL, he's playing defense. So they've changed to put him on D. And his defensive skills are improving as well, too. He can always score goals, but now he's become a pretty good defender as well, too.
Yeah. So that's a little recap right there. We had Gwendolyn Nightmare against Slashing Pumpkins here. As you mentioned previously, the Gwendolyn Nightmare picked up Terry and they picked up Ryan.
That's correct.
But Nightmare ended up getting goals from David Altschuler and Matt Kelly to make it a 2-1 game. John scored for the Pumpkins there, but Nightmare doing their thing. Pumpkins trying to figure it out. What do you think these teams need to do to make a real splash and wreck this season?
Well, the Pumpkins are one of my favorite teams because they always play the game. They obviously want to win. They have a good team chemistry there. They have a lot of social functions. They really hang out as a team much more than anything else. This is kind of their outlet on Sundays mornings. Obviously won a championship. They've come close a couple of times. They haven't got there yet. But they have players that they added last season, a couple of seasons ago, that are going to be key players. John Barraza was a good goal scorer. And his partner, I'm drawing a blank on her name right now, but she also is going to be a big factor. So they're going to be a good team. Pumpkins just didn't work out for them last season. But they're a team that I think with the new rec division, with the promotions of some of the players from Crazy Eights, some of the players from the Hockey Dead, this division is right for them to take it. They're a veteran team with not too many new faces. And they're a team that I think now with the additional goal scoring they have, and with Doug Simino and Josh Kump and a veteran Chris McKee and Nets, they're a team I look forward to having a pretty good season this season.
That is so that's kind of our rec recap right there. The one team we didn't mention, the Lucky Sevens, they had a bye this week. They speaking of roster changes, this is a team with some roster changes this season, right?
Yes, all their young kids, the top 3 young kids, they've moved up to now to the Crazy Eights, who also promoted their kids up to the higher division. So we have a good system where players promoting from each division up there. So their top scorers, Sam Shepard and Tom, are now playing with the Crazy Eights in D4. They lost a couple of their other players who are kids working a summer job that are available as well too. So Lucky it's a retooling with some new players. And one as another young kid coming in who wanted to play last season but couldn't do it, Eric Kukuri. He actually played the tournament about 4 months ago, looked pretty good. He should be a good player. A veteran player coming in as well in Matt Talbot's. And they have 2 new kids who haven't officially signed on that team yet, but once they confirm, they may also be names you want to keep an eye on. Jordan Tootie is one, and his friend, who I don't remember his name off the top of the head, but they're going to have some new kids here who's going to make it fun to watch them play as well, too.
Okay, so that is it's a quick little recap there of rec. Very interesting. We'll see how the season goes. So we're jumping into D4 right now. We got a split division, but we're just gonna wing it. We had Crazy Eights, the new look Crazy Eights against the High Rollers. So Crazy Eights, they added Sam and Tom.
Yes, and Helen also joined them from she plays with both Crazy Eights.
Okay, Helen.
She's moving up as well too.
That's good.
They had a loss, unfortunately. Tessa tore her I think it was ACL again just recently. So we wish Tessa the best out there. They lost her, so they lost a female there. But Helen's going to step up and play for them. And a team that with having Sam and Tom there, you already saw dividends. With the ladies on the Crazy Eights, goal scored by Emily Marshall. She's going to love playing with Sam and Tom because they pass the buck. They're unselfish. They pass the buck very, very well.
Yeah. So Crazy Eights played High Rollers. They ended up winning 3-2. So High Rollers, not too many changes. Someone on their roster scored a goal. It was Sam Berkeley. That's
yes, again.
Was that her first goal today? I forget.
I think it's a third, right?
Yeah, it's 3 games in a row, 3 goals. So she's got a hot hand right there.
Sam is now a D1 player in MDHL, and she may join a D1 team as well too down the road. But she's a player that's really improved the last 2 seasons dramatically, especially the forward. She's people are seeing her speed. She's got speed as well too. So if you're looking for a D1, D2 player, GMs, captains out there, she's the one I would target.
So I mean, I don't want to question her speed, but when I watch her play, one of the first things I look at a player to kind of gauge how good they are is what they do when they get the ball. Do you just whack at it?
Yes.
Do you do something? She gets it. She takes a second. She looks up. Her passing is through the roof. She makes great decisions. She moves without the ball. These are a lot of things that kind of stick out. So she's definitely a player to watch.
Absolutely. And you said another key thing you said there that I watched. To me, the biggest thing is hockey IQ. If you watch Sam, she's moving without the ball. The ball's not there. She's going the right position. She's just not standing there.
You're getting open, so the ball get back to you.
Absolutely, and she's going to the net. She's making that triangle. She's moving positions. She's hard to defend. Because she's moving, she's often left unmarked. So that's a great tool and a great skill to learn for people out there and women playing forward as well. Keep moving your legs.
Yeah, if you move without the ball, like it's I see it in D1 where players like Sean Miller, he moves without the ball and he's just wide open in D1, and how do you lose a player like Sean Miller? So I mean, if Sean Miller can take 2 steps and get open, anyone can. So that's a big thing that a lot of people can focus on is move without the ball and you'll be all right. So,
absolutely. One thing on this game, Joe, if I might
killing me here. So let's go ahead.
This to me are probably there's 3 teams that are favorites in these 2 divisions. 2 of them played, obviously Crazy Eights and
High Rollers, yeah.
And High Rollers, yeah. And High Rollers did lose 1 key player. Brian Billick moved up to D3 to play with the penalty box hero, so they did lose 1 key player, but they're still a very strong team.
Yes. So definitely losing Brian's gonna be a big deal, and he'll hopefully go a long way to the penalty box heroes. We had a Flying Hellfish against the Stick Magnets here. This is a game. Flying Hellfish looked pretty good. New player I noticed was Mihal, I believe.
Yeah, he filled in, if you recall correctly, because you play MDHL. He filled in about 4 or 5 months ago for TNT in the late game against, I think it was Crease Crashers.
Against Crashers, yeah, I played against
him. And he played well, but he couldn't join that season. So he was a late addition. This season he can play. All the new kids they have out there, I know Michael Fiak, all the Fiak brothers. And the new kids they have, he's the Chad. He's the most talented one of all those 4. So,
after one game, he looked good. Hellfish looked really good. I mean, honestly, I was just started this game. I thought the Hellfish were going to win the game, but they ran into one giant roadblock for Stick Magnets. And his name, Derek O'Halloran. 4 goals from Derek. That's That's a great game. You know, he's telling me, oh, no, you never got a hat trick before. Now he just dropped four. First game of the season. That's a good start for him. Big for stick magnets. Hellfish look good though. I know the Hellfish, they kind of struggling a little bit right here. They need some GM Suds action to right this ship. And and Hellfish looked pretty good. That was just a game where Derek had a hot hand. He took a lot of shots. A lot of them went in. So stick magnets won the championship 2 seasons ago. Hellfish still trying to figure out their identity. But
Yeah,
that's
and
okay.
if I may here, Joe, the Hellfish, obviously I was a GM when they first started out there, no longer the GMs for a couple seasons out there, but they struggled to score goals. So we finally got them goal scorers. They've got some young kids who can score goals. Now they just got to go back and refund that defense they had the first season, figure out how to play defense better, and combine that with goaltending at the right time. They can be definitely a factor in this division, no doubt about it.
Yeah. So more D4 action here. We had the Gwendolyn Blue Knights against the First Ladies Jack Willen team. This was a 4-0 game for Blue Knights. Kevin Miller with a hat trick. This is one of the several Kevin Millers in this league.
Yes.
So
Kevin J. Miller, and I think Kevin T. Miller.
Kevin J, not Kevin T. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, he had a hat trick, and Anthony Amato with a goal and 2 assists. Anthony, remember, he played for the Street Sharks last season, and now he's up to Blue Knights. He's a player to watch. I think he can really do some damage, and he's a player I could definitely see moving up relatively quickly to more higher divisions if he wanted to. I could see him in the Gwendolyn system doing well.
Absolutely. One thing the Gwendolyn people play a lot, so they know when they see new players, they know. And I spoke to Ben Berger, private conversation, and Benson. Once I saw Anthony Amato play, I'm like, we need to get this guy on our roster. Anthony's one of those players, speed and talent. He won't be playing in rec too much longer if he continues to develop the way he does out there. He's got a high ceiling, so that was a great pickup by Gwendolyn at that point to get goal scoring. Also, I think Teal is the one who actually does all the rosters for Gwendolyn. And they made some changes. They moved some players around. I think it's now a more balanced team between Gladiators and Gwendolyn Blue Knights. And this was the team that, as an 8 seed, almost won the DCHL Cup last season. They got to the finals, but they lost their rivals, Gwendolyn Gladiators. So this team, I think, that you better loaded this time around.
Yeah, it is definitely the case. So Blue Knights get the win there. We had one more final game in D4. We had First Ladies Eleanor against the Gwendolyn Gladiators, the defending champions here. This game started out really well for Gwendolyn with a shorthanded goal from Eric, but First Ladies they scored 6 goals in the
it's
second
amazing.
and third periods.
FL struggled to score, so seeing them score 6 goals is terrific. If I recall correctly, was it the Christie Cassie line that did all the damage?
Well, no, let's see. Christie had 2 goals. Hillary Murphy had 2. Casey had 1, and Jess had 1.
Yes, and we love Jess, but when she scores a goal from the point, you know you're in trouble.
Oh, snap! Oh my God, he just threw the gauntlet down. So I'm not gonna edit that one out. She's gonna hear that one.
Oh, Jess and I talk. I mean,
I'm sure. I am sure. So okay. Gladiators, not really too many changes on that team. First Ladies, not really too many changes either. This is the first game of Sam's for the day. Sam Berkeley subbed in this one. Did not get a goal, but had an assist, but that's okay. She had her goal scoring streak had ended 3-4 games. So First Ladies looking good right there. First Ladies play very good defense, have very good goaltenders. If they can start scoring some goals, then it'd be really dangerous.
Absolutely. I think FL team, that's why, people ask, why is Adam Barrett in that? Why is Aubrey Moore in that? It's competitive balance, and that helps them stay competitive in D4. And once their star players start scoring goals, I think FL will be a team to be reckoned with in D4.
Exactly. So it's it's D4 right now. I mean, so you think the Crazy Eights and High Rollers again are going to be the favorites?
I think so. I think Gladiators will also be there as well too. I think those 3 teams, to me, right at this point, are the 3 favorites if you had to pick the top 3 teams.
Okay. So we're going. We got some D3 action here. D3 is one of my favorite divisions, personally, just because I feel like it doesn't get as much love as it deserves here. So we had Goonies against the Penalty Box Heroes, aka former Zambronis here. And this was a game where Sharon scored, Phil scored, and Sam Berkeley scored.
Again, same Sam Berkeley?
Yes, same one.
4 out of 5 games.
4 out of 5 right there, and this goal was actually this was a big one. This was a game winner against the Goonies here. So the Goonies, fresh off their championship win, get taken down by the penalty box Heroes.
Yes, you might maybe a little bit of championship, hangover there for the Goonies. But
well, not only that, a little bit of a restructure going on here. So explain what's going on with the Goonies right now.
In terms of
the roster, Suds.
Yeah, basically, the Goonies are a team that it's really a team of friends that play together, and obviously, we have
the friendship, as the jersey says.
Friendships. But at the same time, as from a league standpoint, we have to do our job to make sure that the teams and divisions are competitive.
Balance.
Yeah, and some of their players in Goonies, they're high end players and they have high talent ratings, and it costs them a lot of cap points. So Casey Hansen, who really is not really a D3 player, she should be playing a D3, but we understand why she has to. And as a result of
I'll explain it. So Casey and Hillary, they can't play later games, which is unfortunate for D1 and D2 because they would go a long way in any D1 or D2 team.
Yes. So what we're doing actually is having Casey get to reduce her cap hit, and to be fair, is having Casey play in a male spot. So that helps the roster out, helps the ratings out. It also makes sense from the cap standpoint. So they actually are having Casey play in a male spot. So when you see her on the floor, she's taking a male spot. Obviously, she's a terrific player. Male or female doesn't matter. She's a terrific player. One of the top players in the league. And as a result,
she is chronically at the top of the scoring list for players in D3. I mean, I remember she was for a while. She was like one of the top. I mean, she was leading the league for like 6 weeks at one point through for points. At one point, she is exceptional.
Absolutely. And it's one thing. We, as a league changes, Joe, we all start to change with the league and try to be fair. At the same time, balance, competitive balance, friendships, talent, all that stuff out there. And if a female player wants to play down her division in a male spot, we will certainly, entertain that thought. I think it makes sense to do that. If a team needs talent and they want to take a female player down that normally isn't allowed to play in that lower division, 1 point lower, we're going to entertain that thought and try to make it happen.
Yeah, it's definitely a tricky thing to talk about, but I think we're doing, you're doing a good job trying to get competitive balance on this and allow players, deal with their schedules and all that. Goonies also lost Austin.
I'm sorry, Goonies lost Austin. Austin plays on 3 teams. Again, we have a rule now that guys can only play on 2 teams unless you are grandfathered in. So it's difficult to play on 3 teams, with the gaps in games. So Austin decided to drop 1 team, and it was the Goonies. So now he's only playing for D2 Young Bloods and the D1 Redcoats.
Yes, so that's that. And penalty box Heroes, they had some changes here. Lost Andrew Marshall, lost Jessica, lost other players. I don't have all the rosters there, but they picked up Brian Billig. I believe they picked up who was playing on this team? I forget. I talked to this person yesterday at the tournament.
He did. Look at the roster right now. Actually, Eric Trepney is there.
Trepney, that's right. They picked up Eric. That's a big pickup.
Yes, Eric Trepney is definitely a D3, D2 player. Absolutely. So Eric, Brian will get more goal scoring. Raul with the speed from 0 pucks given. So they got
Raul's
some
a good
players
pickup.
that they're gonna help, and they picked up also Sharon Osey now joined the team as well too. She's getting better and better. We talk about Sam Berkeley. Sharon's another player that just joined the league maybe about 2-3 seasons ago, and she has moved up pretty quickly on the talent level. She plays hard. She forechecks.
Not only that, I mean, she was a podcast guest a couple weeks ago, so you should go back and listen to that one. Her interview was awesome. She's a cool person. I was shocked how awesome she was because she was definitely not gonna tell me her awesomeness. I had to dig deep on that one.
Well, Sharon is a very quiet player, so you don't.
She is. It's hard. It was fun.
She opened up. So.
Oh yeah, she is so cool. Like I felt so much more uncool after talking. I'm like, wow, I don't know, how am I even allowed to interview this person?
and speaking of Sharon, she scored a goal in her debut, so that's good.
Yeah, she got a goal for Penalty Box Heroes, and she was on the champion Sharks and on the champion 0 pucks given. So she winning just follows her around.
Absolutely. So the restructured penalty box here looked pretty good as they actually big test game 1 against the defending champ, and they won that game 3-2 in a close one.
And we had Stingrays Arabian Nights here. This is a weird one here. I mean, Stingrays had a really strange season 2 seasons ago. Last season they kind of it did a lot better, and The team, I think that they're starting to figure it out again. Arabian Knights, got upset by the they lost to the All Blacks.
The All Blacks, yeah, the All Blacks.
The All Blacks had beaten them last time. They were the champion 2 seasons ago. So I mean, not too much in terms of roster changes for either of these teams, but they played to a 3-3 tie here, and there's not really too much to say here. You're both kind of known quantities at this point.
Yeah, some minor rosters just to go over. I think
a little bit. Pete Lang.
Yes.
He's goalie for Stingrays now.
Yeah, Pete Lang now the goalie for the Stingray. That's a pretty good move by.
That is. I totally forgot that because Pete Lang was subbing for the Penalty Box Heroes in the previous game and played great. Yeah. So I totally forgot that. So yes, that's a big pickup right there. Stingray's gonna.
And also, Jeremy Morton's back. Jeremy Morton, who's playing D1, D2, he's back. And also, they have a new female who played pretty well. Tiffany's a veteran ball hockey player, plays in other leagues out there. She was able to be added by Ken Suzuki. So they got some reinforcement depth-wise and also in goal as well, too.
Yep, so that'll be big. So it's a 3-3, 3-3 tie to start the season. This is one of my big loves of the league is the inability for people to score on penalty shots. I love it. I love it. It was a penalty shot here, and Nantel took it. I mean, Nantel, very, very good player.
Yes, very underrated play. Very underrated play, by the way.
I mean, Eric Taverner with a big save on the penalty shot there. I mean, last season we must have been like 0 for the cent. We were definitely 0 for whatever, and we're 0 for 1 already here. I need a penalty shot. You got to hook me up. I need to join this list of misses because I know I ain't gonna score.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously did research on penalty shots, but I may have to ask Sarat to get me a history on the penalty shots in DCHL because we started keeping strats on the website, see where we are. But
that's got to be an easy query to write. So yeah, if you can get me that, I would love to tweet that one out.
Absolutely, we'll get that for you next week or so.
So we had two teams who had the buys here. All Blacks, not too much in terms of changes. I believe Jess joined the All Blacks and. Yeah. She joined the All Blacks, I believe, kind of filling up spots. I'm not sure if Molly or Allison's going to be part-time or
they're still part-time.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the only change for them. And the IPA, not sure what's really going on with them. Any information?
Well, he's no longer the captain. Heath has moved further away in Virginia, so he's no longer the captain of IPA. He's a part-time player at best. So Natalie Parcells now the full-time captain, the only captain of IPA. No major changes. They have a couple of players, referral friends coming in. I believe it's Zach. I think it's Zach. If I'm not mistaken, I haven't seen the official roster yet.
Zach who?
I believe Zach from MDHL, who's going to be on the roster. Is he? No, I apologize. It's not Zach. But they have a couple of players that they're going to probably add eventually here. That's not been officially added yet. Same roster as last season, but no heat. He's basically a part-time player.
Okay. That works. All right, so that's D3 right there. Who do you like in the championship for D3?
Well, again, I think it's going to be D3 division has changed dramatically the last 2 seasons. The talent level over the last 2 years has been tremendous. It's I think any of these 3 teams. I think Stingrays got depth. You got goalie now and Pete Lang, that's a veteran DCHL player. Jeremy Morton on D is going to be a big help.
Jeremy's a big pickup. Jeremy score. He doesn't score that often, but when he scores, it's always a big goal.
I would have to give the edge to the Stingrays right now on paper. I think Goonies are going to be right there as well too. The Gwendolyn Arabian Knights. Those three teams to me still are the ones to beat.
So I'm all in on the penalty box heroes here. If this last season has taught me anything, it's the newly formed, newly renamed teams that really make a splash here. So we're going with the penalty box heroes.
Well, yeah, it's a good point. Retool, rebranding always works well. So let's see if that
works. It kind of wakes it up. So we're going to some D2 here. D2 is going to be, D2 is just goals. And I mean, this is I would say it's offense.
Yeah.
And so D2, we have first game, Ball Hogs against Youngbloods here. Ball Hogs missing a couple players here, and Youngbloods are able to take advantage. This is the Ball Hogs 40 shots on net. This is where Kevin Shea shows that he's a top-tier goalie, 39 saves.
Absolutely. There are several game changers in this division. Kevin Shea is one of them. No matter what team he's on, if Kevin Shea is on his game and having a top game, no matter who you are, Untouchables, Jagger Bombs, Gorilla Gang, or Ball Hogs, you won't beat him. So he's a game changer, and he definitely played very well this past week.
Yes. So this was a 5-1 Youngbloods here. This Austin had a hat trick. That was a big game for him right there.
Yes.
Beyond that, we had a
Let's mention again that this was the Ball Hawks' first ever regular season loss.
yes, it was. Not having Alex Ortiz will go a long way. Missing their new defensive superstar, Will Sarr.
Yes, and Scott Boat added on as well too. This team,
Scott
Ball
added as well.
Hogs will go as far as their offense will take them. Their offense is a little suspect, and they're learning now that the D2 division has got a lot of speed, so their D has to be better as well too. But they're a good team. They're going to be right there.
Yeah, I mean it's tricky. The Ball Hawks had such a great season. Last season it was, it won over, an overtime goal that knocked them out. I mean they could have easily, they got past untouchables. Maybe they're the champions. You never know. So
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm not gonna say, oh, Ball Hogs this, Ball Hogs. I mean, I think they'll be fine. Definitely a great division. Not really many changes on young bloods, but
one small change, I believe, Sam Brinker now on the young blood, so he's now there part time.
Sam is on the young bloods. Ooh, that's juicy right there.
Yes, Sam is on the young bloods. I believe it's either a full time or a part time position. So he had a goal obviously in that game as well too. So
that's good. See, I'm a big fan of this. I mean, like I know Sam and Aaron and Alec and Ben, they all want to play together and things like that. But I think it's good. I mean, I think it's good that they play on different teams, so you get experience with different people to kind of grow different areas of your game. But I also like the fact that they're playing D2 now. These players were very good. They were dominant in D4 when they were there. I'm glad they're no longer in there. They need more challenges, and the only way they're going to grow is by playing against top tier talent. And
that's an excellent point. And I think, speaking of them individually, I was glad to hear they said, you know what, Suds, we want to play together, but it's good to be playing on different teams in D2 because we have to meet new players, learn different skills, adjust. And I was so glad to hear that from them. I think
exactly.
Sam and Aaron told me that. And all three players, Alec Marok, Sam Brinker, and Aaron Brown, left the Crazy Eights, but they ended up on three different teams in D2, which is great in my personal opinion.
I think so, yeah. I think that's definitely good. So it was a loss for Ball Hogs. They'll recover, but it's gonna be a crazy D2 division. We had Jagerbombs Untouchables. Untouchables brought the offense like they do, and not too many changes for these teams. What are your thoughts?
Well, I personally, there's two different topics here. Let's talk the first one, the positive. Great Untouchables to me are the favorites of the division because they have such good scorers, such good players like yourself, like John Gramlich, like Adam Goldberg, and when Mark is there, Mark Mager, Tway on defense.
Tway usually plays forward though, for reference.
Oh, okay. Brian Barnes, to me, I love Brian Barnes. I love that Brian Barnes on my team. He's a great player. So I think that to me, they may have some depth issues and you have to work on your depth players possibly, but the upper end of that team is just so good that when you guys show up, it's going to be your favorite to win anytime. So
I mean, Untouchables, like I like to point out, Untouchables have led the entire DCHL leagues in goals scored for the last 4 seasons.
It's a question of how many goals you're going to give up. That's just determine the factor if you can win or not.
Well, that is the question, and that's you got to figure out. But pointing out too, I mean, I think Untouchables might have we're going to brand it here. Untouchables suffer from the Claude Williams barn burner curse.
Which is?
They've won the barn burner twice.
Okay.
And have lost in the playoffs here. It happened in Blue Steel too.
Wow, that's right.
This barn burner is a curse.
That's the curse right there. The Sports Illustrated curse. Talk about football. Here's one in the DCHL.
The Madden curse, the Williams curse.
Yes. Now, on the flip side, talking about the other team, talking about the Jagerbombs, they struggled last season. They won the Cup 2 seasons ago. And here's what you have when you have a team that's built on playing time and stars who miss a lot of games, is when they miss games and the subs come in, you're going to struggle. And you see it happen to the Jagerbombs last season. Their key is going to be attendance. They had to show up. They show up, they're a top team. If their star players don't show up, they're going to struggle. And the problem with that also is that you don't get chemistry in the playoffs when you don't play enough together. So,
exactly.
And that's going to be a concern for them. They have talent to be the number one team, but the question is attendance for them more than anything else.
Totally agree on that one. So last D2 game of the day, we had Funk Masters against the Gorilla Gang right now. This game ended up 4-4.
Yes, and some people, the Gorilla Gang lost some talent over the last season. Bill Weeks moving on. Josh Lurnham, I believe, going to grad school, not available. So that's a couple of big losses. I mean, it's hard to replace that kind of talent in D2. When you lose 2 scores like that, it's almost impossible to replace them. Alec Mark should do a good job. Andrew Marshall coming in should do a good job for them. Amit Bistri part-time should help them out. So we can't replace them one-on-one. We can hopefully replace them at group level.
Amit's a good pickup.
Good pickup, yeah. I was surprised. They played pretty well, obviously.
They were able to overcome Joe Shea in net.
Yes, well, they could use their advantage, so to speak, and they had to use Joe. And Joe, actually, that's pretty good goalie, though.
I had 36 saves.
You played pretty well. I
let one weaker one in, but I mean the other ones, like it's Keith and Simon shooting on me. I'm not a D2.
Yes.
What do you want?
Yeah. Yes. So it was a good test for them, and I think they did a pretty good first game with their revamped roster.
Yeah. So what do you think moving forward in terms of D2? Who's your preseason pick?
You know what? I'm going to go a little bit off the radar here. I think, again, if Kevin Shea stays healthy and the play, I'm going to give the young bloods a little bit of love here. I think there should be the slight favorite here. Of all the teams, they're the most complete team. They have offense, they have defense, and they have Kevin Shea in net. And when you have that, they're the most complete team in D2. If it did come out to offense, definitely the Untouchables. There's no offense like the Untouchables.
What do they say? Offense don't win championships, though.
Yeah, but it's hard.
It is. It's hard.
Eventually, when you have skill level that much, you can't stop them all the time. You just hope to contain them. But when you have to guard against a Joe Shea and
unguardable.
And on one line, and then John G and Mac on the other line, that's tough to go against game in, game out, and not be able to give up goals. So I think those two teams are the favorites, in my opinion.
So you think maybe the player for the young bloods that really he's going to have a magnifying glass over him, maybe Sam Brinker? Is he going to be the piece that lifts
the depth? If he can give depth scoring and depth defense, absolutely. That would be a major pickup for them in that regards. I think another player that's coming around. I mean, I've seen more leadership from him this season out as well too. Is Nick Brown. If Nick Brown can continue to score goals, Adam obviously. I mean, I'm sorry, not Adam, but Austin can score goals obviously. They have a good female defensive crew there out there. They can do a lot of good things. Sam Bricker maybe adding goals here and there.
See, I don't think that Nick Brown scoring goals is what the team needs. I mean, he's going to score goals. I mean, that's just what he does. Him making space in creating for the rest of his team, getting them more involved, I think that's going to be the key for young bloods to take it to the next level.
Absolutely.
They need Nick Brown to become a player who can dish the ball off a little bit more.
Absolutely. And this team has got Kate, and Taylor. I mean, they have great forwards. If Nick can be a distributor as opposed to a shooter, that would be great for both those ladies out there and get goals and score as well too. So I totally agree with that. But also with Nick Brown, I think leadership. I mean, he needs to be more of a leader in the huddle. And we talked about that actually with his captain and a couple of players as well too. I think Nick Brown showed in game one he was a leader. And I think if he continues to do that, be a leader, that team can go very, very far.
I'll agree with that. So we have D2. That's done. We're going to D1 right now. We've got 2 games on tap. Puck Buddies against the Lizards here. This was Puck Buddies 4-0 win over the Lizards. Felice had a hat trick. Jake goal and 2 assists. So what are your Puck Buddies pretty much, the roster's not really going to change too much, but the Lizards had an off season. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, Lizards had an unfortunate off season. Obviously, Bill Weeks moving. We talked about it earlier with D2. He plays also on the Gorilla Gang last season. When you lose a Bill Weeks type player, it's hard to replace that kind of player, especially in D1 and D2. And then Taylor moving over to Puck University, her request because she and Kate want to play together. It made sense from a driving standpoint purposes out there. So that wish was honored by the league and by the 2 teams involved. So they lost 2 very top players. And again, in D1, that's the highest division we have. You can't lose those players and expect to compete. So Josiah coming back, Orenda coming back, is going to help a little bit with speed and offense. I believe Nicole is going to play defense now as part-time for Lizards as well too. But the key to Lizards is always going to be Kevin Shea, and that's also goal scoring. They need more finishers. In that regard, a roller player that filled in last week, name of Declan Scott, young kid.
He filled in for
the White Walkers last week.
Filled in for the Walkers, yes.
Yeah, He's going to be joining that team. He's got nice hands. He's an ice hockey player. He's not as good as Alex Ortiz yet, but he can be an Ortiz-like player if he keeps playing ball hockey. That could be a good pickup for them as well, too. So we need to get them maybe one or two more finishers out there. That game 4-0, when you play against a team like Puck Buddies with Jake, Nantel, Sarav,
Felice, John Gramlich.
Yeah, that's. I mean, you only give up 4 goals and you stay in the game. That's a pretty good effort there by them. They just couldn't finish a couple of chances they had out there. So I think the future looks bright. They'll get better, and hopefully adding 1 or 2 more scorers down the road will help them make them get better as well too.
Okay, and then final game of the night, the hashtag we need subs because the Game of Thrones game is on. Redcoats against Goldsteins, the no longer walkers. When the Redcoats were looking for subs, they said, "Hey, do you want to watch the walkers or do you want to fight the walkers and play for the Redcoats?"
Oh, nice.
That was that was the marketing that we tried. But this was a game. Goldsteins were down 1-0. And Zimmerman scored on assist for the Coats. But Goldsteins got goals from Boris, Thorpe, Keith, and their sub Declan to make it a 4-1 here game.
A game obviously full of subs. Hard to gauge the level of these two teams based on that one game alone. Obviously Redcoats missing their goalie Dominic. Ben Berger in his debut played pretty well.
Ben played really good.
Debut. Yeah, in D1 he played pretty well for the Redcoats. But again,
breaking DCHL Outsider news here. Redcoats missing Dominic this season. The upper management of the Redcoats was happy enough with the way Ben played. They're bringing him back for a second run.
What, full time?
No, just this week, subbing in.
Okay, gotcha.
No, Ben's good, but we're not gonna just dump Dominic.
Yes, good to hear.
It's one of those things. If I'm gonna dump a player for a new player, it's probably gonna be as a result of a win, not as a result of a 4-1 loss.
Well, tell me about you obviously you're the captain of Redcoats. There's a captain of Redcoats out there.
Oh, I don't know if I'm the captain of Redcoats.
Captain, helping out. Ariel's hurt, yes. So
yeah.
Getting Wiley back, that would be a big help for you guys, right?
Wiley's a big help. It's tricky because it's like you get Wiley, before she left, took a little maternity leave. She very good goal scorer, great player, but at the same time you get Wiley, you lose Marla, and they both are very, very good players. So it's
absolutely,
it's like you lose a bunch, but you get a bunch. So it's you just broke even, in many ways. I think they're both very, very good players. So it's not like it's not like we kept Marla and got and had
right.
and had and White. So it's not like we're just like loaded with them. It's you get one, you lose one. So that's a little unfortunate, but I'm glad to have Wiley back. I think she's a very positive influence.
And also, you're going to be getting very shortly, the next month or so, you get some scoring help as well too, both in the front and the back end. Will Saar is back for this season. And also, I believe Blake Harvey's back in about a month or so as well.
Yes, that is the plan. Will is going to be back, hopefully. Blake is going to be back, hopefully, and hopefully again. This is man full of hopes and dreams right here. Brett Snyder from Australia.
Is he back?
He's
from Australia?
I'm not sure specifically. He said he's going to be back for this season. He's on the roster. We're planning to have him, but we'll see what happens. We'll see where that goes.
Yeah, that will be a big help. And of course your one not that you're not a superstar, Joe, but your one other superstar player, Tyler Whitwinter, is he still on the roster? Maybe make a few games here and there as well too, possibly.
I mean, I definitely consider myself a superstar. I honestly, you can say that Jake Bruby's better than me, or you can say that Keith Ingram's better than me, or you can say that whoever, and that's fine. I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say that I'm better than Sean Fassbinder, but I think that my ability to dish the ball and pass is second to none, and I'm very lucky to be playing with superstars like Austin and Amit. Like Austin, he's getting so much better. Amit, good and getting so much better. Alex Ortiz. There's so many superstars on the Redcoats that Tyler's huge, a player. But there's so many stars on the Redcoats. It's amazing. And not only that too. We got Wendy and Wiley. Like
yes.
We got a lot of goal scoring, and we scored a lot of goals. D1 is hard. The goalies are really good. The defenders are really good. We got some goal scorers here. We think we do a really good job, and Tyler will be around. We'll hopefully be back, and it's kind of a real hodgepodge of players, but we're gonna try to make it work and see what this season has for us.
I think here's my you guys are my long shot here, because I think if your players show up, I think that you guys have a chance to make a run again and win the cup.
Well, I mean, I'm going to point out the last time that we had Will Starr on the roster and we had Blake Harvey on the roster and we had
lost
Brett
a
Snyder
shootout
on
in
the
the finals,
roster.
right?
We lost a shootout to Puck University in the finals here.
Yes.
So I think I think this team's got a lot of talent. I think we're going to be in really good shape. So I'm excited for the season.
I think you have a lot of high potential there as well too.
Oh yeah, I mean of all the teams in the league, I mean there's no doubt that Redcoats have the highest room to grow. We got the highest ceiling. I mean if Austin develops the way he does and keeps getting better, and Alex keeps getting better, and Amit keeps getting better, I mean there's so many players who just keep improving that I feel like we can go in and win any game. Like I honestly feel we can go in and win any game any day.
Absolutely. One quick change on the Goldsteins. They're actually going to have a different goalie this season. Jordan Loftus can't play this season, so Mike Kay, the venerable Mike Kay, top goalie, is going to be taking over the nets for them.
So TNT on Sundays.
Yes, pretty much. Yes.
With Keith
yes.
and Sean. That'll be a good team. They lost in the finals. It was a very good game. I mean, the team is loaded, so it'll be interesting. Speaking of Goldsteins, next week they play Mercury Rising, who the defending champions.
Yes, should be a good game. Mercury's going to lose some players. Obviously, if I recall correctly here, who's that? I'm drawing a blank on the name for some reason. Zach is going to be back, but the other gentleman that plays with Zach, he will not return this season.
AJ?
AJ, yeah, no AJ and no Adam Goldberg. They're not. They may sub here and there.
Okay.
Not full time, but that's two big losses for them.
Yes.
Matt Fontaine also not playing this season. I think we can figure out why she's not playing this season. I'm not sure if it's official yet or not. But
disciplinary issues here.
Meg Fontaine? No.
Oh, she threw a stick. I saw it.
Maybe something that she's doing, that she's carrying would throw a stick eventually, but no, Meg Fontaine. I think she's okay if I say that. She has a second baby coming up out there as well.
Really?
Too. Yes.
That's crazy. Like, she didn't tell me. No. Okay. She did not tell me this. She would sub on my teams. I would talk to her all the time. Did not even tell me.
Yeah, this was the news that was sent to me privately about 2 months ago, and Meg stopped playing about 2 weeks ago, actually.
Oh, she is in the outsider doghouse here, not telling me about this.
Well, we want to wish her and Kevin the best on their second baby coming as well.
Awesome.
Yes, and that's why she's not playing this season. So Mercury looking for a female. We just picked up one. Actually, I'm no longer the GM of Mercury Rising, but I got them one actually from my Razzle football league. She used to play before. Her name is Stephanie Christos. She used to play in a team called B&D, where Mike K was a goalie about 2 years ago when you were not around, Joe Shea.
Okay.
She reminds me a little bit of Melissa. I'm sorry, a little bit of Sam Berkeley, a little bit of Kayla Dunn, a little bit of Juliet. A mixture of those kind of players. So she's a player that's going to also get better and better as she plays along. She'll be joining and taking over the full-time position there for Mercury Rising. But again, Mercury Rising is going to lose some of the key players.
Oh, so we just totally forgot here. There was an addition on the Goldsteins that we just totally forgot.
Oh yes, Paul.
How do we forget that one?
Yeah, I apologize. Yeah, Paul Stein's moving over there as well too from Puck University.
Yeah, Stein's making the moves. That'll be D1 play, a little bit of musical chairs going on right now. It'll be interesting.
I would put them as the slight. Well, let me take that back. Puck Buddies have so much talent. I'm not sure how Redcoats beat them. You guys beat them in a great game last season, and the last possible second, it was a terrific game for the Redcoats, and you're able to knock out Puck Buddies. I think the rest of D1 thank you for that. But to me, Puck Buddies still probably a slight favorite. But to me, the number 2 team on that roster, not even Mercury Rising. I think the number 2 team on that roster on my list is the Goldsteins. Then number 3
very possible.
Mercury Rising.
So one more team that we got to mention here, Puck University. Right now, this team, I can't figure them out. Okay, I'm sorry, you got to help me out with this one. So Puck University last season, they started out pretty good. I believe they won their first 5 games in a row.
Yes, they were up there.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was winner tie or something like that. They were doing really well with a bunch of games, and they just kind of fell flat towards the end, and that's a little tricky.
Yeah, a couple of things with Puck University. Obviously, they struggle to goal score. They struggle to score goals sometimes, and that's their issue sometimes. Then this off season, obviously they're losing Jason Maxine, their defender, to surgery, so he will be out this season.
My ears, thank you, Jason.
I think all the referees say thank you very much from our
Well,
referees.
so Jason's become a huge fan of the stream, so we love Jason watching the streams.
Yes, he does. He does watch a lot of games. So, Jason, good guy. Sometimes he gets on our nerves, but he really means well. But
Passionate man.
he's got surgery. He had surgery already on his shoulder. He's going to be out this season. So they're looking for a defender. So it's they've lost Paul Steins. They've lost Jason Maxine. That's going to be some two big pieces to replace there. They did pick up Taylor, so that's going to help them with Taylor. I'm not sure if Josh Lerner is going to be there full time or not. So that team is going to be going through a little bit of a small transition there.
Yeah, so this will be interesting to see kind of what's going on right now. The funny thing, though, which actually just cracks me up, if you look at their roster, you can look at the player roster, whatever. You got another goalie roster. They've got Jason Stelter in net, very good goalie. They've got John Krause, who plays defense, but is also a very high-rated goalie.
Oh yes, I think John Krause would be probably a 9-rated goalie in our league. I'm just going off the limb here.
Yes,
9-rated goalie would be my protection there.
Yes,
highest is 10, so definitely a superstar goalie in our league.
Yes, and they got a forward who plays goalie as well. His name's Sean Miller.
Yeah, he would be an ace. I mean, they've got
Sean Miller might be a 9 goalie. Sean Miller is a top tier goalie. He played goalie for Redcoats for a season or two, and he's very good.
Yes, absolutely.
They have so many goalie players, top tier roster goalie players. It cracks me up.
Yes. That team, obviously they need him to score goals. They need Sean Miller to score goals. They need Jake Wooler to score goals. But that team is built around defense, and just like Mercury Rising from a year ago, they can score goals. They can beat anybody as well too. That's just gonna be about goal scoring for them.
Okay, so that's pretty much a wrap up on all the divisions right here. Looked at the games, talked about a lot of stuff right here. Do you have any other league information or things along those lines?
Right off the top of my head, no. I mean, I'll give you some tidbits here as well too. We're looking at possibly adding another location down the road this summer outdoors. So I can't say much more than that. So look for that, maybe possibly to for teams to play, for people to play outdoors as well too, to make it more fun. You guys do a good job with streaming. That's awesome.
I think the streaming is definitely. I mean, I've worked on that for a couple of seasons right now. We're streaming a lot of games. We've streamed all the playoffs and championships for the last 2 seasons. We have also, I think we're doing really good with the social media stuff. We're tweeting every game.
Yes. Again, it's not such thing. It's a DCHL Joe Shea thing. I gave that ball to you. You've done a good job rolling with us. We appreciate that. And
the podcast is doing well. But so two announcements for the for this year for the tweets. We're gonna tweet every game as we keep doing with the hashtags. Actually, I'm gonna give a special shout out to Sharon, who she's the only person in the league who actually comes up with hashtags when her team wins or things like that. And hers are really good. So if you got hashtags and you want us to do them up or you got ideas for them, let us know, because I think that's really cool when other people contribute as well. It's really fun. But the 2 things we're going to do, we're going to try to tweet once per week, one tweet just about a rule in the league that we have that maybe not everyone's aware of. And I think that'll go a long way. Say, hey, how come this wasn't icing? How come they didn't get called for delay a game or this and that? Just to try to explain all the random things. Or probably be something that comes up, when the refs are reffing that we think would be good for everyone to know. And the second thing, once per week, once per Sunday, we are doing our hashtag primetime player. We want to give a special shout out and a photo shoot. Well, one picture to the player who plays a very outstanding game. And last week it was Derek O'Halloran. That was an easy choice, 4 goals. But we're going to try to do that to really highlight one individual's performance. So those are going to be the 2 things we're going to try to focus on this season and see how it goes.
Awesome. And 2 things if I may add here, Joe. Up from the fishing standpoint, we're going to also emphasize again, we have 5 different divisions, D1, D2, D3, D4, and Rec in DCHL. And, when you have different divisions, you have different talent levels and different way the game is played. Then we're going to emphasize in the email coming out very shortly about how the rec should really be called tightly. So if you're a rec player, make sure you avoid contact. And if you are a high-end player, we could give you more leeway as well too. But the name of the game in the lower divisions is safety most important than anything else out there. So we're going to make sure we differentiate between each division how the game is called. One rule book, yes, but the rec players definitely going to call the game a lot more tighter.
Okay, that's actually really good to know right now, and it's important to teach players rules because in the lower divisions safety is the most important thing because you have newer players who might not be familiar with hockey as much. It's more important to kind of err on the side of caution and maybe crack down a little bit more on the stick work or anything like
contact.
That. So
just the contact in general.
Oh, yeah. Contact especially.
Yeah, especially contact. And the last thing that you brought up actually that Joe shared a question to me, and we're going to try to bring in again something I've talked to Saurav about, our web guy, and make sure. And again, we need your help, folks. This league works because we're a nonprofit league. We can always use your help if you can volunteer. But scoring wise, we're trying to bring stats to the playoffs if we can. But in order to do that, and also stream games, and also have the best referees ref, we need your help to help with stats. So if you guys can help with stats, we'll try to bring stats into play for the playoffs as well too.
And not only that too, I mean, if you play on two teams and you got a gap in between, you can always say, hey, I can score this game and help out. Just because having more people available to score does go a long way.
Yes. And you learn, you meet players, and you learn things you want to learn about. So it'll help you as well too. Especially if you're a captain, you can watch new players play, scout them as well too. You can do different things with that time period to also help yourself out as well too.
Exactly. So all right, on that note, Suds, we are going to end this podcast. Went a little bit. It was about what expected. We did a lot. We covered a lot of ground right there. Hopefully, this was informative to anyone. And if you want help out on the streams, just let one of us know. Talk to Claude if you want to do anything with the podcast. I believe. Excuse me. I got a request from John Nuno. Awesome. Nuno's going to be our next guest. I'm hopefully going to do that one on Sunday.
Yes.
Nuno will be a good one. I'm pretty sure he wants to be the guest because he keeps scoring all these big time goals and he wants to a little bit of gloating, but I don't blame him.
Yes. And if I recall correctly, John Nuno is the one who brought Anthony Amato in the league. And he brought Anthony and Dan. They were his friends. So that's the reason he's playing on the Sharks because that they didn't have a spot for him on Gwendolyn for 3 players. So he moved to the new team last season and brought his friend Anthony Amato and Dan to the league.
Okay, let's see. That's good to know. I'll try to explore that in depth next week. But on that note, thank you for listening, and we'll catch you at the rink.
All right, folks. Thanks, Joe, for all you do, and we'll see you guys on Sunday or Wednesdays.